finished, or I got a lot done. It's now just 2 minutes to 4, so I probably finished up and had some lunch about a half an hour ago. I've just finished lunch, and I did pretty much everything and a little bit more than what I expected to do. So I'll bring you back around all of the spaces and I'll show you what I changed, and you could possibly see a little bit behind me everything that I'm going to be donating. And James has just phoned our local charity store, so they're open till 5:30. So after I take this video, we're actually going to load up the car and drop the things straight down there as well. So let me take you around the kitchen. It's still sort of pretty much in a mess. I've got some dishes there because I filled the dishwasher full of things that I found and stuff. So on the front of it, there's not sort of any major changes. This is all of the items that we are donating to the charity shop. So it's a collection of sort of like glasses. Some are odd, some are in sets, a few baking things, some cups, plates. It's just kind of like a mishmash of everything. There's some artwork and some linens, and I think it's 2 cookbooks and a set of knives that we don't use. So let's start back over here in the corner in this sort of large console unit that we have. So like I mentioned earlier, I really didn't get rid of, in fact, I think I just maybe reorganized this ever so slightly, but nothing really sort of came out of this. Big change down here. If you remember, I said that I actually wasn't going to be tackling that press that had all my tablecloths and things in it. I actually did get around to it. I had some time, and I pretty much got rid of everything. Well, we currently don't really use tablecloths. I just kept a white linen tablecloth and 2 runners because they match napkins that we use regularly. The bottom is actually totally free now, and I'm probably just going to keep some sort of like gifty items in there, things that were given that perhaps we won't be using or will repurpose. Big change in here. If you might remember, I had all my baking trays and sort of casserole dishes in here. Now I've got all my spare glasses, so champagne, some brandy glasses, some spare wine glasses, and right at the rear at the bottom I've got some ice buckets and wine coolers, and then this beautiful jug that we actually use to serve red wine out of at parties and things. It's really nice. Another big change in here, you might remember that we had a lot of our wedding gifts, that sort of, and fun thing, we sort of opened some of the boxes and we didn't even realize we owned some of those things. So I've sort of swapped those out and put them in a more convenient place. And I've put sort of baking trays, like sort of for pies and cakes and things in here. And then this gorgeous heart-shaped casserole dish that my brother bought me for Christmas. Not just gone the year before. I use this all of the time, and it's sort of kind of like, because of its awkward shape and height, it's difficult to find a spot for it, but that's pretty convenient there for me. This really hasn't changed at all, so I won't bother showing you. The only big difference is I took out the Christmas napkins that I had and the Christmas placemats that I had, and I've actually, well, I have them over here sitting on a chair, and I'm going to put those up in with my Christmas decorations. So moving on down here, I suppose right here we have a big change. I used to have my cutting boards and my serving trays, my sort of everyday ones, behind this little kind of plinth thing here. So I've actually swapped those out because they used to take up a lot of room, and I now can have all my oils and vinaigrettes and vinegars and sort of my cooking wines and stuff all out, sort of easy to use. Even though, yes, I do still want to replace all of my cutlery, I can't do that just yet because, well, when I have to find the one I want to replace it with. So that all remains. I just cleared out the drawer and tidied it up a little bit and sort of corralled sort of like our cheese and pate knives together. I took them out of their kind of plastic boxes that they came in and just put them in that plastic container and that. So that really just got to tidy up, and a few things got moved to better locations. Down here, again, a bit of a change. Tea and coffee is still on the top. I sort of removed all of the things that would have been past what is now the coconut oil. I raised the shelf slightly so I could now fit my chopping boards in there. I just feel that's a better space for them. I also have a breadboard in there. My two little tea caddies now stack on top of each other really nicely. Behind that is actually my pestle and mortar. I'm using that sort of like as a bookend for the chopping boards. And behind that I have some vinegars and spare oils, things that I don't need out. The sort of under the oven press didn't change at all, didn't remove anything. It's exactly as it was, so I won't bore you with that. Our cup press, I did get rid of a few cups that we no longer like or use, and we actually found these really beautiful part of the dinner set that we received as a wedding gift, these really lovely white Newbridge silver cups with the beautiful silver bottoms. So I've decided to take those out, even though they're not dishwasher safe, so we won't use them daily, but just to have them on hand more. So did that. Big change, well, sort of for me, big changes in here. I got rid of a lot of our old Delf that was sort of stacked in the upper shelves there. And again, a beautiful dinner set that we received as a wedding gift. It's all white, and it's actually the circumference of the plates is perfectly sized for our dishwasher because our other plates are not, and we have trouble with that, so we're going to use those more often. Actually, I'm just going to grab this. This is a Christmas plate that I have. I don't think it'll focus. And I'm going to put that with the other Christmassy stuff I'm putting aside to go up in the attic. So I know I mentioned I was going to get rid of those square plates, but you know, when I took them down and I was looking at them and I was holding them, to be honest, they really do give me joy, which of course is the basic principle, or one of the basic principles for the KonMari method. And they are great serving dishes and great for parties and things like that. So I'm going to hold on to those. Behind them were a gazillion shot glasses, and most of them sort of had like sayings or pictures on them, which personally I don't like. So we have put all of those out for donations. So that's probably a big change for us. Again here, nothing major, a little bit of reorganization. And on the top, I've just corralled all of our like to-go coffee mugs and sort of water bottles and things at the back there in one spot. They were kind of all over the house. So I've kind of put them up there, easy to reach when we need them. Then moving downwards, you might remember this was kind of like pretty functionary. It had part of my food mixer in the George Foreman, and below that again, we had loads of sort of disposable cooking trays. So I've now taken the rest of my food mixer and the various kind of attachments and products, and also my handheld mixer. I've brought them all together in sort of one easy spot. And so I think that's going to work out much easier. One of the things I'm focusing on, or well, again, it is a principle of KonMari's, after you declutter and you're putting everything back, is to put like things together. And I have to say, it's such a simple concept, but it's really making a big difference. Myself and James, even though sort of largely it is me doing the KonMari method, James has been involved with most of the major aspects, particularly with the kitchen, because obviously it's a space we both use. So I wanted him here to see what I was keeping and what I was getting rid of. And in fact, some of the things I wanted to get rid of, he wanted to keep. So we did, of course. And also so that we would both decide together, or at least know, where we were putting various things back. This drawer really hasn't largely changed. I probably brought some things from other spaces, so that again, like would be with like in the one spot, and removed some things that would be better stored elsewhere. So that's all pretty much the same as it would have been earlier in the day. Here, another big change, obviously, because the baking dishes and loaf tins and cake tins all removed from here. We are storing our casserole sort of dishes in here now, and our disposable dishes. I was hoping to be able to stack them all sideways, so taking them in and out would be really easy, but unfortunately some are too slim, some are too short, and some are too wide. So this at the moment is the best arrangement. These two red ones to the extreme left are probably what we use the most anyway, so they're stud and it's pretty easy to take them in and out, so we're happy with that. And we did reduce our sort of like our wok and frying pan sort of collection down to these ones, and we sort of rediscovered this sort of deeper one, which we obviously knew we had but sort of forgot. And then my scales is just in here because it's handy and easy to do. So let's take a look at the pantry, and again, I'm sorry, still haven't replaced the bulb in here, so it might be a little bit dark, but hopefully you can still see. So yes, I did make some changes in here, which surprised me a little. So as we were going through everything and sort of rearranging and deciding where we would put things back, you might remember that these bowls here that I'm pointing at used to reside up here on this top shelf, where all my sort of tinfoil and saran wrap and baggies and things are now. These are really heavy because they're stacked. There's probably about 6, 3 of which are glass, 1 is ceramic and 1 is plastic. So they're quite heavy when you're lifting them down. So I've always wanted them in a more convenient place. And the same with the items beside them. The sort of the teapots, the cafetiere and the flask and that, and even these small little measuring items and bowls. So one of the goals that I had was to find a place to have the easy access for them. So what we did is by moving all of the food processing items to the press over here, it freed up some space on that top shelf up there with the polka dot boxes. And I moved the boxes up there. We actually have donated the rest of the items that was on that bottom shelf with one of those boxes, and just moved my cookery books down a shelf. They were resident here, and it's freed up the space for us to be able to have that really sort of those items that we use all of the time on hand. And once we do the shed, it is my goal to get this crate. This is a dog or cat crate, whatever way you want to look at it. We use it when we have foster kittens or cats with us. That is their place to sleep. Our own cats get to sleep in their baskets or beds in the kitchen, and obviously they roam freely, but when they're not your own and you don't know their temperaments, for us it's better to keep them crated at night. So what else did we tidy in here? Oh, so these 2 white boxes, this one still contains all of my sort of spare plasticware and Tupperware and stuff. I'm going to fill in the label again because I bought a new chalk marker and I want to use that as opposed to actual chalk. The one beside it used to house all the cats and dogs' spare bowls and things. We've actually decided to either bin or donate the majority of those, and we've just reduced to what they're currently using, which are their favorites, and then these spare ones as well. And we just have a few other kind of like puppy pads in here, and this is a bottle. So our youngest Buddy, who's 6 months, we got him when he was 3 weeks. He was one of our foster kittens, and he was hand reared so he's bottle fed. So occasionally, sort of, he loves to still suck in a bottle. And obviously, these are really good to have for future foster kittens as well, because they're handy. And then we just have the dog and the cat food. Again, I was rubbing off the marker to put fresh things on it. And then I got to sort of just tidy up. There was a lot of kind of just odds and ends on the floor that's been tidied. I used to keep, so all of those spare glasses, the champagne and the brandy glasses used to be on top here, and I used to have that piece of wood extend out to give me more space. So because I've cleared all that up and repurposed, I now have the bird feed up there, attachments for my Hoover and carpet cleaner, and this bowl here is actually brown sugar that I took out of one of the presses, and it had just hardened a little, so I'm just using a moistened cloth over it overnight to sort of loosen it up and hopefully bring back the sort of softness to it. Sorry. So as I mentioned, I'm not doing food or those kind of things at the moment, so this is pretty much as it was. And even when I do food, it probably won't change drastically. It will just be a case of maybe, removing things that are out of date, but nothing here really should be. I'm fairly good at keeping on track of all of that, and we obviously use all of the products that we would purchase anyway. The only major difference is more room on the top shelf there for baggies and saran wrap and tinfoil and things like that. So that's just freed that up a little bit more. So that's in here. And then I think we just have the drawers and above the fridge is what's left. Sorry, I had a carbonated drink with lunch and it is just making me hiccup. This orange basket, I think everybody should get themselves, not this specific basket, but a basket like this. So what I do is, this basket sort of travels between upstairs and downstairs. And if it's upstairs, I normally put all the things in it that have to come downstairs and vice versa. And it just, being in this basket means you need to be sorted and placed back where you go. So as I was going around and we were sort of decluttering in that, I put items in here that perhaps I don't know where they're going to go yet, or they need to go somewhere else, or I need to sort of think about it a little bit more. So that is what that basket is there. So no change to the top drawer. Like I said before, it's pretty tidy to begin with. It's just got a small selection of everything that we need down here, sort of stationery wise, and that. Still need to stick the handle back on. Bit of a change here. More of a tidy up and a sort of a reorganization of the things that we probably don't use regularly. This would be a regular drawer. So it's got like our snack bowls, popcorn bowls, sort of fruit cores and zesters and things like that. Pot stands, some baking paraphernalia. This is fantastic. I bought this in like a Euro shop for probably €1. And it helps you wash your fruit and veg. So because I prep everything as I purchase it and sort of store it away either in the fridge or in the freezer or wherever it's going to go, this is fantastic. I can just hook it onto my tap and away it goes. Next drawer, nothing really changed here at all, just a clean out and a reorganization of it. It's all pretty much exactly as it was. And then the last space, I believe, is just up at the very top of the fridge there, that sort of shelf. So up here what we have now is, these are kind of like our party or dinner party wares or things. So a combination of, sort of like good steak knives and forks, pastry forks, really sort of, I've got my sort of afternoon teaspoons and napkins up there, sort of our cake cutting knife that we gave a gift of, our carving set, and then like party bowls, so like for nuts and chips and dip and all that kind of thing. They're all up there together. in either